Development meeting started. Can I first of all get a motion to approve the minutes of our prior meeting? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Leggett. All those in favor? Aye. Wayne, where are we at?
All right, I do not have any committee action required this morning, but it's an update of last fall we were here, Sarah and I, and we're talking about the recreation mapper, and it was the committee's decision that we wait to introduce that until we had a full 4 seasons worth of information. We are pretty close to that. Sarah's been working on this. We did get sidelined with the census updates on the LUCA program. But what I wanted to do today was have Sarah go through the recreation mapper, where it's at, and I believe we're looking at a week from Friday to do the official rollout for Labor Day weekend. Through the First Wilderness program, we've been doing for 2 years now, Sarah's been doing the Trail of the Week, and that's released on a Friday, and thanks to the tourism office, they share it on the county site, and it gets a considerable amount of traffic. So our last Trail of the Week will be the introduction of the recreation mapper. And so, Sarah, if you just want to go through that, and we'll give you a taste of what's been going on. Again, this was, we started it through the First Wilderness program, and Sarah hounded me to say that it really needed to be county-wide, and we agreed, so we've kind of been subsidizing her time through the First Wilderness program to develop this. So, Sarah, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. So I know some of you were here last fall when we talked about the very beginning stages of this project, and made a lot of progress since then, and as Wayne said, getting ready to launch this going into Labor Day weekend. So just a brief overview of the impetus for this project. About 41% of Warren County is publicly owned recreation lands and waters. So that might be a shock to some of you, maybe not a shock, but we have a lot of land. About 30%, 31% is state-owned land, about 9 or 10% is land and water, about 9 or 10% is locally owned recreation land, but a huge percentage of our county. As we all know, outdoor recreation is a main driver of our county's economy. We have tons of visitors to the Lake George area, fewer visitors to the rest of the county, but still a substantial number of visitors. I think it's also, I can speak for myself, probably many of you in the room, that it's one of the main reasons that we live here. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot to live. It's not necessarily the most economically viable spot to live, so I think for most people, the additional reason of loving where we live is a big driver. The largest percentage of this public lands in Warren County is really underutilized. Obviously, Lake George, the surrounding area, very heavily utilized, but we have a vast quantity of land in the rest of the state that you'll be hard-pressed to see another person on if you hike or fish or camp. For instance, this is the state-owned land and recreation unit within Warren County. This is Siamese Ponds Wilderness, Vander Walker Wild Forest, Wacker Wild Forest, Wilcox Lake Wild Forest, Lake George Wild Forest. So just within Warren County's section of the Siamese Ponds Wilderness, there are over 30 well-marked, well-maintained trails to named destinations. So ponds, mountain peaks, other areas of interest with really nice trails. And over the course of the last 2 summers, I've hiked a vast number of these trails, and I can count on one hand the number of people I've seen while doing that.
Exclusive of bears.
Yes. Within Warren County, we have about 800 water bodies that are open for public recreation. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to give a little quiz here to everybody as we're going along and see if you can name these sites. These are all within Warren County public lands. All right, anyone want to take a guess where this is? not packed forest. Take-
Is that the Black Lake area?
As I said, it looks like off of Palisades Road.
No,
Trail.
this is the Oregon Trail to Stewart Creek Slough, which is off of Route 8, past Baker's Mill. 800 water bodies. Anybody want to take a guess where this is? It's in your town.
Not sure which one.
So this is Crab Pond in the Barrel Lakes Wilderness. Beautiful, beautiful spot, beautiful little campsite, gorgeous pond, beautiful trail. Feels like you're walking through a little fairy woods to get back there. Anybody want to take a guess on this one? There's 130 plus primitive campsites in Warren County. It's Kibbe Pond. 2 thumbs up for that. Nice trail, very nice campsite, beautiful little pond. We've got more than 220 miles of hiking trails in Warren County. Anybody want to take a guess on this one? I know it's hard to see there, but...
Going into Farrell?
This is John Pond Trail in Siamese Pond Wilderness. Again, beautiful loop trail, John Pond, Clear Pond Loop, 2 gorgeous trails. There's actually a historic grave site along this trail. There's a beautiful little lean-to on John Pond. I hiked this on a gorgeous sunny day, did not see a single person. It's through Indian. I went through Indian Lake, but you can't access the 13th site. We've got 50 plus miles of mountain biking and cross-country ski trails. Anybody want to take a guess where this is? Popular.
So 13?
This is Second Pond off of Route 8. We have 63 publicly owned parks in Warren County. These are locally and county-owned parks, not state-owned parks. Anybody wanna take a guess as to what park this is? So, when I began this project, as Wayne said, the focus of this was to provide an interactive mapping component to the First Wilderness website. But as I began the project, I realized that we were really lacking in a full inventory of the county's public recreation resources. We don't have a full inventory anywhere. So the Visit Lake George website has some listings for many of these resources, parks and trails and cross-country ski areas, but it's not a complete inventory. In most cases, there's a one-line sentence, sometimes with a picture, a link to additional information for many of the resources, but it's not comprehensive and it's not detailed. Many of the town websites don't list their parks, so there's no good way for visitors, let alone our local residents, to find many of these resources. In addition, we don't have a good way to show relationships between resources. So the Visit Lake George website, and again, not to disparage that, obviously that's a hugely popular, well-visited website and the main driver of tourism to our area, but there's Google Map locations on that website, but there's no way to see relationships between features. And for instance, say if I'm going to go camp in Siamese Ponds Wilderness, what can I do within the area where I'm camping? Or if I'm going to go cross-country skiing in Coles Woods, what else can I do while I'm there? So I think I spent all of my childhood summers in Warren County growing up, and aside from 1 year in Dutchess County post-college, I've spent my entire post-college life full-time in Warren County. I have 2 young kids. We're a very outdoorsy family, love to hike, bike, ski. I would say at the beginning of this project, I was aware of possibly 50% of the options for recreation we have in Warren County. This is a huge untapped resource for both visitors and our local residents. Yeah, I forgot that Yes, that would be right. That one is Chester Creek. I'm just going to flip over now, and again, we're about, I would say 80% complete at this point. As I mentioned, one of the goals was to have a comprehensive listing of all of the recreational resources. This has been a huge, time-consuming undertaking. I do think that it's well worth it because there's not anything like this on the web that exists at all. I'll be fleshing out the remaining details over the course of the next couple weeks as we get ready to launch this, both on the GIS page on the Warren County website and also on our First Wilderness site and our First Wilderness Facebook page ahead of Labor Day weekend. So just to kind of give you an example, each one of the hiking resources has a difficulty level, the listing of the trails, address, directions, links to the website. In the case of Lake George Land Conservancy, I was in touch with them and they shared their resources and gave us permission to link to their existing trail maps online. Many of these we developed in-house, most of the ones Wilcox Lake Wild Forest and Siamese Ponds Wilderness. These were done in-house, and so they link to a page on our First Wilderness website. We'll see how our connection speed is here. So there's a detailed trail map for each one of these resources, and then a link to a website on the First Wilderness page with additional information, the elevation profile, quick little graphic about the trail, what's allowed on it, directions, Google Maps directions, photos, and then a list of things to do nearby with links to other opportunities in the area. So we've got winter recreation, a comprehensive listing of all the parks, amenities at each park, and a little history about each park. We've also included all of the bike trails and linked to the Ride with GPS that was done by the bicycling committee, so people who are interested in looking for road rides can download all of their road ride information from this website. And again, a listing of canoe launches, beaches, etc. Thanks. So that's it. Anyone have any questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I'm just thinking about the younger generation using this. And for any hikes or bikes or something like that, can they download this trail onto their Google Maps? Because I do it. I save a map.
Yes.
And I'd like to know where I'm going, whether I'm getting close to my destination or where I am. So it would be really cool if we could download that onto an existing Google map that they can take with them, because they can't really take this with our cell phone coverage.
Right, exactly. So a couple comments about that. One, this is a responsive app, so this will reformat to work in a cell phone or tablet, and be very user-friendly in that format. Secondly, the trail information, for the most part, is not owned locally by us. So the trail information, all the DEC, with rules for distributing GIS data, we can distribute anything that we develop ourselves in-house. So for instance, the stuff that GPS, Bartonville Mountain, and the stuff that's locally owned resources, or that we have permission from the landowner to distribute. I'm sure it's Chester Challenge trails. We could definitely do that. The DEC trails are owned technically by New York State DEC, and they do provide the KMZ or Google Earth file on their website to to download. So we could link to that KMZ, but we can't legally directly provide
Sure.
that trail data to download. So, but yes, we could definitely add a link to the state's data that could be downloaded into it.
I think one of the other things is, as Sarah mentioned earlier, Google Maps doesn't always put the placeholder where the item is. And since this is all GIS driven, the geographic accuracy is a lot higher. So if there's an opportunity even to go to the Trail of the Week and print the map, which are all printable PDFs, that may be more accurate than trying to use Google Maps.
Yes, all of these have PDFs that can, you could take along with you on your phone that are a hard copy. But as far as the KMZ file, yes,
It's
we
like
can.
where am I? Are we there yet? You know?
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting. Are we
Yeah.
there yet?
Yeah.
Supervisor
So-
Stroud, did you have a
Yes.
question?
Sarah, George built,
Mhm.
for example, Rush Pond.
Yep.
He had an app that put on my phone for me, and so it shows me Rush Pond Trail, and if I bring the app up, it shows where I am on the Rush Pond
Yeah.
Trail.
Yep. So this app is not designed for that functionality, but yes, all of that is definitely doable. That would be a separate, and we've discussed that as well, like having an actual, on your phone hiking app that would allow you to see where you are along with the trails. So that's something that we definitely could do. This website/app, I guess, this is not really an app. This is more of a website that's designed to be an inventory and an
and
informational,
That's great, if we could get to, because sometimes I won't do a trail because I'm not familiar with it,
yeah,
and I don't want to get lost and spend my whole day trying to
Right.
get back.
yeah,
Then it's nice to see where I am. Of course, you can always do it with Google, but it's nice to have the trail on there too.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
this is beautiful. I'm just saying, the next step maybe.
Yes, and that would definitely be a next step. That would most likely, in order to, so it's one thing to put Rush Pond trails, on an app and have a location of where you are. That's straightforward. Probably, given a KMZ file, just about anybody can do that. But to have a full inventory of, hundreds of hiking trails plus all of these resources that are on this website would entail some custom development to make an app that was user-friendly. And so that's probably something that we would need to contract with a vendor to assist with doing.
Hence, Mr. Chairman, why I said we need to discuss our budget package for next year.
Right, we look forward to it. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate, all the hard work. It seems like it's all coming together, so we appreciate it. Did you have something again, Travis?
I just want to say this, it looks like a marvelous marketing tool, and I'm just wondering how you're promoting this, whether it's going to be links on websites such as hotels, bike rental places, camping, private entities like this, as well as quasi-public things like tourism.
Yes, so we've discussed with tourism integrating this into their website at the beginning when we were first beginning the concept for this. We met with them, and they were just at the beginning of their contract with their vendor. So I think the plan is the next time they do a big update to their website, we are going to definitely integrate the mapping component of this to hopefully replace or enhance what's on the tourism website. Also, this is obviously a free public resource, and we're more than happy for anybody to link to it. So if the towns would like to link to this website from their town websites, if there are, bike rental places or ski rental places, or anybody else who would like to link to this website, there are no restrictions on doing so. We are going to promote it on our Facebook page, and then, Visit Lake George will promote it on theirs as well. They typically get about 12,000 views.
Yeah. And And what we'll do is we'll send it through the clerk of the board. We'll send the link when this is ready to go to all the supervisors and
Supervisor Leggett and then Supervisor Conover.
Right, that was
And then
my-
Supervisor Bramer.
My question, we're looking
I
at
anticipate-
Labor Day,
Yep.
when this is, because I tried pulling it up here, but not yet, huh? So,
Yeah, we don't, I mean, it's live, but we don't have a link from our website yet, so I have, some things I need to finish up before the official launch, but yeah, we'll send out a link to everybody, and then it will be on the GIS page on the county website, and then also on we'll put it, on the home page of the First Wilderness site, as well as we'll have links from the outdoor recreation section of the First Wilderness site.
Supervisor Conover.
The linkage, when it's available, will it go to the spatial data viewer, or will it go right into this program?
It will go right into this program.
And I was happy to see that you made that connection with the Lake Lang Conservancy.
Yep.
A wonderful program.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best, if not the best. Now, they will also, when you hop on the link over, you'll also pick them up as well as via this program.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been in touch with them throughout this process, and if each one of their hikes links directly to their website and their trail map.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you.
Supervisor Bramer.
Thank you. This is an awesome resource. Thank you for putting this together for all of our assets. Two of the main assets in the First Wilderness Corridor are the Hudson River and our railroad corridor. So I'd like to know if there's an update on what's happening with the grant for looking at that corridor, as far as what we can do with the corridor.
I believe you're talking about the smart growth. To be perfectly frank, I've not been involved with that. That went through the DPW committee, so where they are with that, I don't know. So I kind of found out about that secondhand, so it's not something I'm familiar. I know the funding round is not out there yet. At least it wasn't when I checked the phone here before the meeting. But I would suspect a fall rollout for that, and my understanding is they'll be preparing an application.
You don't think you'll be participating in that?
I have not been invited as of yet.
If it's the will of the committee.
And that falls under the DPW purview, and
And I see that Supervisor Simpson is not here to participate in this discussion.
Excuse me? What did I miss? I heard Simpson, so I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble. I was asking Wayne about the Smart Growth Grant application. He said that it's completely through DPW, and I said, well, are they going to invite him to participate? And he said he didn't know. So I said I would ask Supervisor Simpson.
I think our DPW meeting is later, and we'll have Mr. Hajos there. You can ask him.
Okay.
Thank you. One other item. Go ahead, John. Yeah.
There, a while back, we put in the extra money for the greater detail satellite maps.
Yep. So,
You know where we are?
yeah, so we had a successful flight. So I think, as we mentioned last time, the weather is extremely tricky when it comes to the
Sarah, can you
aerial.
back up and just kind of give some groundwork on that? Because I
Okay.
think some of these supervisors aren't aware.
So every 5 years or so, the state flies aerial photography for the county, and we have the option to upgrade the resolution of that photography. So the county decided to spend $60,000 to upgrade our flight in 2017. However, due to our weather issues in the spring of 2017, the flight was unsuccessful, and they were only able to fly Queensbury, Glens Falls, a short distance along the lake before leaf out happened. So basically, they have a short window between snow melt and leaf out in which they can fly, and they have to have clear days in which to fly. So typically, every spring, that is a handful of days in which they can fly. 2017 didn't happen. So they decided to give us the photography free of charge that they did fly in 2017, and then try to refly the whole county in the spring of 2018. Thankfully, they were mostly successful. There's a small amount of leaf out in Stony Creek and Thurman, but we took a look at it. It's mostly on public lands. It shouldn't really affect functionality for the most part. They're not going to charge us for those photos, so we accepted it. So we should have delivery of that photography this fall sometime, which will be great. And a half-foot resolution photography for the whole county. So that'll be a great upgrade over our current 2013 aerial photography. And as soon as that's available, we'll post it on the community map.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Great,
In the fall.
great job, thank you. Any further discussion on that's all being done? We have one action item. Welcome, Beth. We appreciate your efforts in attending today. One of the items on the agenda is a request from the Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board to authorize an annual payment of $7,000. So basically, can we get a motion to get that on the floor? Supervisor Simpson, second by Supervisor Leggett. Just basically, it's the cost of doing business, Beth, of kind of ensuring that we're back to the middle in terms of kind of acceptable ways of doing business, and I suspect you are in support of this resolution.
Yeah, just a quick update on what we've been doing. Since we have updated our bylaws, they've been sent to the 5 counties for acceptance. Today, 3 of the 5 counties have passed the bylaws. We have 2 other counties that are meetings coming up in the next couple of weeks. We expect to go through that with no problem. We have been working on the loan funds. We currently have 59 active loans. 6 of them are not paying on their regular basis, and we've been actually working with them.
Can Beth sit at the table, please?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
So we've been actively working with those that are on a regular payment schedule to get them back up to date. At the end of July, we had submitted 5 CFA applications on behalf of our counties for various projects. Also at the last board meeting, we were authorized to hire a senior account clerk, which I've been working with Warren County Civil Service to develop a job title for, and that information has been submitted to Civil Service, so we're waiting for them to approve the job title, and then they can canvass to get a senior account clerk. And as our secretary will be retiring September 1st.
Great. Thank you, Beth. Go ahead. Supervisor Bramer.
Thanks. Beth, thanks for coming this morning. It really is very much appreciated to have someone here that can give us some info. I'm wondering, what is the operating fund balance, and where does that stand right now? I know we haven't paid this money since you requested it last year.
So the funds that are provided to us from the counties are utilized as match for our Federal Economic Development Administration grant. So basically the $7,000 we then turn into $7,000 from the federal government as well. We have, in terms of cash flow, been doing a lot better. Aaron from AGFTC and I have worked to get AGFTC's reimbursement time down to just a few days. We're turning the paperwork between his office and my office. So that is really helping with the cash flow. We are owed some funds from DEC. It's an internal state grant gateway system issue as to why we have not received that money yet. But hopefully that should be coming any day. I received an email this morning from them. So, and then also Department of State has paid for something that was done a while ago as well, has paid the town, so that will be coming into us. So we're definitely getting on top of the money that we're owed and getting it back into the organization.
Is there other money that you're getting for operating expenses, and can you just give me an overview of what your operating expenses are?
So our operating expenses are quite low. So the funds that we get from the EDA is a $70,000 grant with a $70,000 local match. Up to now we have not been maximizing that, but there are ways to restructure the way that we're utilizing funds to be able to maximize that $70,000. We get another $70,000 about from the DEC for the water quality program. So that's for operating expenses, and now we have been utilizing the interest from the loan funds and pulling that into our operating expenses, which we're allowed to do for EDA.
Treasurer Swan, are we, how's that reimbursement situation going?
Working fine right now.
Supervisor Simpson.
Beth hit on it. I was just going to highlight, it was under my impression that the $7,000 for Warren County is also used as match, right, for other funds, so it is important to...
Yes, utilized for operating funds for the economic development program within the organization.
It's for operating. It's not for a program.
Beth, I'm sorry, could I ask you what the status is for the other 4 counties? Have the other 4 counties paid?
They have.
They have?
Washington County just recently approved their payment as well.
What are those other payments? Sorry, Chairman.
I think it's an equal amount from the 5 counties?
No.
No, it's not?
No. Washington County, I believe, approved $3,500. Clinton County is $9,300. Hamilton County is in the $1,200 to $1,300 range, and Essex County, I believe, is, I want to say, in the 6.
And again, the criteria for those amounts are predicated on, what's the formula?
Well, we're working on revamping that as well. We've asked a few of the other regional planning boards in New York State to provide us a copy with the MOAs that they have with their counties, and that spells out exactly how the funds are distributed throughout the counties. But we did find some old documentation from the early 70s saying it's predicated on population.
Supervisor
Okay,
Brand.
I'm not great at math, but there's no way that adds up to 70,000.
It doesn't. So we use other funds. So that's why we haven't been maximizing
The 70,000.
70,000, because things can be utilized differently to be able to match, just to be able to get up to the 70,000. It just involves some reworking on how things are paid for to be able to maximize grant funding that comes into the organization. So that's what we're working on now. So really, we've only been maximizing up to about 35. So 35 local match. We have a lot of in-kind. In-kind has been provided by the accounting firm and not our current auditor, but the one that we had before through the bank. So Glens Falls National Bank doesn't charge us for their services in helping with the loan fund, and their time we utilize as local match. But it still has been only getting us to about $35,000 a year, and so our goal now is to get up to that 70 so that we can then pull all the 70 from the federal government in, and that'll help with our operating significantly.
Very good. Any further questions? We have a motion and a second. And all those,
Is there a motion on the floor already?
I believe there is, yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry. Abstain. I'm going to abstain.
Abstain? Great. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Beth. We appreciate your taking the time. No. Being said, can I get a motion to adjourn? Any further? Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I was curious. It seemed like we had a long discussion on the LDC, but nothing on the EDC today, and I was looking forward from an update from Mr. Bartholomew.
I think Ed did stop by the podium for a very short moment, expressed some concerns, and I think he would like to come back and address that. So why don't we do that at the next meeting, Michael?
Next month?
Yeah. So that I think he has left the building. So we will do it, at our next meeting. Good.
I'm not
Claudia?
sure, but he had his presentation, but he didn't pass it out, so I don't know what was... Get copies of his presentation, like he normally brings us his...
Well, I know somebody made a motion to adjourn and gave him the opportunity to do his presentation.
Mr. Chairman, I can request copies of the presentation from Ed and email it if that's agreeable.
That would be helpful. Anything we can do to shed some some light on it, but Ed, I think, would like to come back and present the information that
Mr. Chairman, we could make that happen maybe next week if it makes sense with the other committee meetings we have, if we can fit in a short discussion from it. I prefer not to wait another month plus.
What is the pleasure of is everyone happy with that? Why don't we go ahead, Ryan, and try to schedule that then? Great. Can we get a motion to adjourn? Supervisor Leggett, second by Supervisor Simpson. Thank you.